Okay, so I'm Todd Petty. I'm a professor of aquatic sciences. I'm in the Wildlife and Fisheries Resources program. I teach classes in freshwater ecology and river ecology, as well as a class in fisheries management. So a lot of things having to do with water. So it's pretty hard to live long in West Virginia and not appreciate how much it rains. and so water is a prevalent feature in the state of West Virginia. And certainly some of its most remarkable places are its rivers. When we think about places like the New River or the Gauley River or the Cranberry River. And then when we couple that with some of the major river systems like the Monongahela River and the Kanawha River, places where historic conduits of coal and steel and major economic drivers in terms of industry development along the canal. So rivers are a huge, huge component of the West Virginia landscape.
I first found out about the water leak. I was actually in Ripley working for the day, and it was on Twitter. I just checked briefly, and there was a proclamation from Governor Tomblin that said, "Do not use the water in Charleston." And that was really kind of the gist of it. I didn't know what else to expect, and I was just looking for more answers, as everybody was, I'm sure, but it was just kind of a panic thing, thinking that the water is out. There is no water. Do not use your water.
I was live on the air when the governor's first tweet went out basically announcing that this had happened. And at first, we didn't really know what that meant. I was on the set, I was anchoring, as I said, and so I immediately sent a note to our assignment editor and said, check into this, let's see what this is. And finished anchoring the rest of that segment of the newscast. During the commercial break, came out, checked in, we'd gotten a little more information. We'd confirmed that yes, this came from the governor's office and it is a do not use order, which is different than a boil water advisory, which is, I think, what a lot of people maybe wondered at first, is this just a boil water advisory? We get those all the time. And it quickly became clear this was not a boil water advisory. This was something much more serious.
I mean, it was clear almost immediately that no one was prepared for something like that to happen. Of course, we found out later as time went on, in the coming days and weeks, what regulations did or didn't exist, what types of enforcement of the existing regulations were even being enforced. So I think that it became pretty clear pretty quickly that no one in Kanawha County or virtually anywhere in West Virginia was ready for something like that to happen.
But what we saw from that chemical spill is that when we don't have water, it creates a serious, serious situation, and not one that's just, environmentalists care about it. Everybody cares about it. Citizens care about it. Businesses care about it. It's wildly important to us, and we see it when we realize it when it's gone.
I think that as a direct result of the chemical spill into the water system in Charleston, that there was a trust broken that may never be repaired. I think that even today, there are a percentage of families in West Virginia and Charleston that do not trust this water system, and they don't want to do anything with it.
I think people need to advocate for their community and for safety in their community, no matter what it is. But when it comes to something as essential as water, know what's going into the water, know how your water is processed, understand what potential hazards there are along the waterways which feed your particular system. People didn't know. And they couldn't or didn't feel like they could trust those in positions of authority to tell them accurately what those things were. We learned through this process that there really hadn't been an oversight process for above ground storage facilities in West Virginia. And the tank bill, which turned into a law, is a step in the right direction to ensuring that there is proper oversight and continued maintenance of those facilities that hopefully, will keep something like this from happening again.